Hey everyone, welcome to my 2014 holiday card series. Today I'm going to start by using this stamp set from Lawn Fawn. It's the Frosty Friends stamp set. And I'm going to take the largest snowman and stamp that on a piece of Coordination's 110-pound cardstock with some Tuxedo Black Memento ink. You can see that my stamps are a little bit yellowed, but it's perfectly fine because they still stamp the same. Now when I stamp this down, my paper is a little bit curved, so the ink gets messed up, but it's okay because I'm going to be able to fix it because I'm going to fussy cut it out. So you can see on the edges it's a little bit thicker, but that's perfectly fine. And then I'm going to go ahead and also stamp the hat. And now I'm just going to color them in with my Copic markers, so this will be sped up and there will be music in the background for you to enjoy. Alright, so I finished cutting those out, and now when I cut out images right to the line, I like to go over it with the Tuxedo Black marker, and that way it just finishes off the edges and it looks like you didn't even fussy cut it out. It just kind of cleans everything up and makes it look better. And it's kind of blurry there, but I just go from the back so that you don't get any extra ink on the front. Alright, so I finished that. It's time to move on to my background. I have this piece of pattern paper from the Let's Polka 6x6 paper pad. And then I have a piece of vellum that is cut just slightly smaller than that pattern paper. And then a white top folding card base. That's an A2 card base. Alright, so on the piece of vellum, I'm going to be embossing on this. So I want to take my embossing bag and just go over the whole thing. It cuts down on the static electricity and little extra pieces of embossing powder that may stick to it. And then I'm going to use the same stamp set, the little snowflakes on there, and I'm going to stamp those with Versamark ink all over, more towards the top of my piece of vellum. And I have two of the snowflakes on the stamp set, and I'm just going to randomly stamp them. You could do one at a time if you wanted, but it just kind of speeds up the process to stamp more than one at a time. Alright, so then I'll go ahead and cover all of that with the Hero Arts white embossing powder. And I just do this over a piece of computer paper so that I can funnel all of the extra embossing powder right back into the jar. Then go ahead and pick that up and tap off all the extra, and then you want to heat that with your heat tool until all of the embossing powder is melted. And when you do heat emboss on vellum, just beware that it does warp it faster than it does regular cardstock. Alright, so now I have two strips of white cardstock, and I'm going to cut those so that it looks like hills or snowbanks. And so I'm going to do them in opposite directions, and then use my ATG gun to adhere those onto the piece of vellum. Before I adhere the bottom one though, I'm going to stamp my sentiment. And this is from another Lawn Fawn set. And I'll have all the supplies that I used linked down below. And it says Season's Greetings. And I think the stamp set's called Winter in the Park. And then I'm going to stamp that with my Tuxedo Black Memento ink as well to match my snowman. And I like these stamps, the sentiments, because they're really easy to line up since it's square. The photopolymer part is square, so they line up really nice. And then I'll go ahead and adhere that one down just like I did the other one. Alright, so then I'm going to use some Tombow Mono multi-glue, and I'm going to go along the edge of each of those white pieces and just put a line of glue all along there, because I'm going to be covering that with Distress Stickles, the clear rock candy. You could also use glossy accents or any other liquid glue that you prefer, just so that the stickles stick to it. Alright, and then pour that onto there. And try not to get the stickles very much like anywhere else besides on the glue, because it will stick wherever. It's very staticky glitter. I find that I get it all over when I use it. Alright, so now I'm going to put together my card base. I have the piece of pattern paper, and I'm going to adhere that onto my white card base that I showed you previously. And then for the piece of vellum, I'll just adhere a little bit of adhesive onto the pattern paper instead of turning over my vellum, because the glitter was still dry on there. And then behind each of the snowflakes, I'm just going to take my Zig glue pen and just apply a little bit of adhesive to the back of each of those snowflakes. This glue dries clear, and by putting it behind the snowflakes, it's not really going to show up from the front of the card. And then I'll go ahead and adhere that down over my pattern paper. Alright, now I will adhere down the snowman, and I'm going to use this Best Creation 3D foam squares. These are the large squares. They also do have a smaller square that I'm going to use for the hat. Alright, and I'll just place my snowman onto the card front. And then for the hat, like I said, I'm going to use a small 3D foam square, and then on the bottom I'm going to use glue, the liquid glue, because part of it's going to be on the snowman's head, and then part of it will be on the card base. And because the snowman is popped up, the glue obviously isn't going to stick to the card base if I glued the whole thing. Alright, and then finally I'm going to add these clear sequins from Pretty Pink Posh, and I will adhere them with my Tombow Mono multi-glue. Thank you so much for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe so that you can catch all of my latest holiday card series. There will be videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I will see you next time. Bye!